I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. This is probably gonna be the most open I've ever been on the internet. You can unfuck your life in your 20s. I have over 2.3 million followers across all my social media platforms. I ended up making $350,000. A lot of people are really lazy and they want results given to them without putting in any work. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you, the way I unfucked my life was, the video everyone's been waiting for. Listen, at 20, I was broke. I was working restaurant shifts after a failed attempt at a pro soccer career, and I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and I was completely lost. I'm 23 now. I have over 2.3 million followers across all my social media platforms. I live life on my own terms, my own accord, and I'm gonna tell you how you can unfuck your life in your 20s. I did it. There's no reason why you can't, and if you make it to the end of this video, you're gonna discover all the sauce that it takes you to get from point A to point B and living life how you wanna live it. I feel like this is gonna be the most open I've ever been on the internet. I'm probably gonna talk about a few things that no one's ever heard me talk about before. This is how I unfucked my life in my 20s, and this is how you can too. All right, so how did it all start? Basically, as a kid, I was always growing up from an athletic background. I always played soccer my entire life. No one ever had to force me to go to the field, to work hard, to maintain the discipline to get better at my craft each and every single day. The goal was I wanted to be a professional soccer player, so I trained my ass off, and at the age of 18, 19, I got the opportunity to go play soccer overseas in Portugal, second division nationals, under 19s, and I also got to debut a third division men's game. I felt like I was living my dream. I always felt like, wherever your passion lies is where you should pursue. And, I was waking up every morning, playing soccer, training, being surrounded by people who were like-minded like me. And all that came to an end in obviously 2020 when we all had that outbreak. Now, from there, I didn't really know what to do. So I ended up coming back home, and obviously I was in quarantine. I was bored and I had nothing to do. So I was like, okay, cool. I saw some people blow up on TikTok. Let me start creating some videos here and there. Around my fifth video, I think my fifth one went to around 500,000 views, and I was like, okay, let me ride with this and see where I can take it. Now, at the same time, I was working a restaurant job, and I was working this restaurant job before I went overseas, but I came back and I needed some source of income because I had no money, zero, nothing. And basically, I went back and I started working, and this job definitely taught me the most important fundamentals of, people skills. I was very shy, very introverted. I didn't like talking to anyone, and I think this was probably the best job I could have had as my first job. My boss was amazing. The staff was amazing. I still talk to them to this day, maintain that connection. But I remember one day it all clicked. I was in the back, I was washing dishes, and I remember I was like, this can't be all that life has to offer. I know that there's no way that being in the back washing dishes is all I could amount to. I wanted more. While I was working this job, I was starting my social media career, but the feeling of having no purpose was always inside, and I was just like having an identity crisis. I was like, I want to be this person, but my actions right now aren't leading me to be this person. So I started doubling down on my social media. I think the biggest thing with anything you do in life is consistency. And once you build up consistency, discipline becomes a lifestyle. If there's a goal you want to hit, you need to think about the person it takes to be the person who deserves to hit those goals. If you can adopt that mindset, there's no task or goal that you set out for yourself that you're not going to be able to hit. I've learned this through countless businesses that I've run. Now, as I was starting my social media career, as I was working in the restaurant, I wasn't in the gym yet. I was still a very skinny and frail kid. Now, obviously, during that time, there was this girl that I had met, obviously met online just because it was COVID time still, and we had talked, and we were talking for a very, very long time, and it was one of those things where I didn't want to go any further, but she kept me, and she was like, hey, I think we should, really just try to see where this goes. So I stayed around for her. Little did I know, a few months down the line, it never worked out, and I found myself in a rut. It really, really hurt me, destroyed me. I was, there just in my bed. I remember crying in the morning, and I just didn't know what to do. I remember, scrolling on TikTok, and obviously TikTok was where I was gaining the bulk of my following. I think I was about 200,000 followers at this time. And I remember a video just came across of a guy lifting at the gym, and it was one of those like typical sad boy TikToks. And I basically took that and rode with it. I remember being in my bed, I'm like, I have so much built up anger, so much, frustration. What can I do with this? And I remember signing up to the gym online at 5 a.m. in the morning, getting there at 7 a.m. I think I was on maybe 2 hours of sleep and hitting my first workout, and I just instantly fell in love with it. I did not think about anything that was bugging me in that moment. It was just literally me, the bar, and the weight. The weight did not care about how I felt. It was that I just need to move it and I need to get it up. And that's where I fell in love with the gym. Now, I didn't really lift for aesthetics at first, I just lifted to survive. I lifted to get myself out of this rut. And I think the biggest thing and the biggest motivator as anyone is when you are in that pitfall, and heartbreak is one of the best ones, that if you can take and channel that anger into something that's positive, if that doesn't get you fired up, I don't know what else will get you fired up. Now, using that energy and channeling that energy, it just became routine. It became discipline. Fitness wasn't something that I just did to survive anymore. It literally became a lifestyle. I would be excited to go to the gym. I would work 12-hour shifts at the restaurant. I would go home and still make it to the gym, come home, study, and do everything that I needed to get done in the day. Now, where did everything really start to take off? I posted like my life depended on it. I really started to double down in social media, and I started surrounding myself with people who were ambitious, who were like-minded, and were on their grind to do something better with their life and be something more. And I think one thing I'm a big believer in is I tell everyone this when they're starting out their entrepreneurial journey, is that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If everyone in your circle is pushing to be better, everyone in your circle is trying to make money, you're not going to be the only person there who is not making money. It's just inevitable that you are going to get to that goal surrounding yourself with people who are on the same path. During the social media time, I was posting 3 times a day for 6 months. I did not miss a single day. Within that time, I grew about 1 million followers. Now, I think if I were posting 1 time a day, if I was posting maybe, once every other day, I would have never been in the position I am right now. Everything comes through consistency, and I've talked to so many people who want to, maybe pursue a social media career or who want to start a business. The first thing I tell anyone is consistency. If you don't have it, there's no expected timeline on the horizon when you're going to hit your goals, because that variable keeps changing. Now, once I hit 1 million followers, the problem next was I was still broke. Like, I had no money other than my restaurant job. And people think when you have a large social media following that the money inherently comes with it. Obviously, I was getting brand deals. I was able to work with some pretty big brands, but the money just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to take me to where I want to be and my goals. As well as in Canada, TikTok has no monetization. So I wasn't actually getting paid off of the 250 million views I was putting in on TikTok. So imposter syndrome really hit hard. I felt like I had this persona to uplift and upkeep, but I wasn't the person everyone thought I was. Everyone thinks, like I said, you have so much money when you first do social media, and it just wasn't the case. I felt like I just wasn't that guy, and I wanted to know, how can I get from where I am to being that guy? I think people need to understand that no matter what, anything that happens in your life is your fault. If you're not at your goals, it's because of you. And the reason why is because you can't change other people. The only thing you can change and provide actionable steps to is yourself. So if you can start to really adopt the mindset that if something's not working out, why is it not working out, and what am I doing wrong, not what is someone else doing wrong, you're already halfway to your goals, because 99% of people cannot take accountability, even if it's not their fault. So what did I do? I needed to figure out how I can do things to get me towards my goals, and I know the only thing that's ever brought me success in my life was to outwork everyone. I knew that there was not going to be someone out there who worked harder than me. So the first thing I did was chase the bag. I learned the skill of making money online. I learned the skill of e-commerce. My first big business was in e-commerce and was in drop shipping. So basically, I had a product that I was selling online, and I used my social media to my advantage to market this product. Now, within the first 7 days of launching the product, I made $17,000, and this was my first taste of real money. Now, there's two skills you need to know if you want to take life into your own hands and learn how to make your own money. The first is sales. If you can sell, you will never go broke because there's always something to sell. Next is marketing, because if you can get views, if you can get attention, you can sell anything. Now, the only reason why I got into the life of sales was because my best friend was in sales at the time, and he was closing offers for people for $3,000 to $4,000 to $5,000 a pop, and he was making commissions off of it. So what did we do? We combined our skill sets. Obviously, we were both really good in e-com, and he was really good in sales. So we ended up coaching and teaching people e-com, and that was my first taste of real money. I ended up making $350,000 coaching and teaching people e-com. One of our students ended up buying an AMG GT 63, his dream car, and then he moved into Amazon FBA. But the problem I learned with e-com, and the problem you may be having right now, is that a lot of people are really lazy and they want results given to them without putting in any work. That's killed my whole passion for teaching people e-com, because most people were lazy, they felt entitled, and they were just chasing shortcuts. And I've learned that anything in life that you want to do, there's nothing that is called a shortcut. You've got to put in the work, you've got to lay the foundations, and you'll get to the goals. Now, there's a way to optimize and shorten the timeline by finding someone who's in your position, who's doing what you want to do, and emulating them and taking their advice and their opinions. But that's the only way to shorten the amount of time that it's going to take you to get from point A to point B. And to me, it felt like I was just babysitting adults with no drive. And like I said, when my passion's gone for something, I move into something else. Now, I want to teach you guys a very important lesson. And I learned this the really hard way, that success, no matter what the success is, without purpose will eventually lead to burnout. It's inevitable. So what did I do? I pivoted to my passion. I went into marketing. Now, in marketing, I started my own marketing company where I focused on taking all the knowledge I've obtained and taking all the laziness and trying to compensate for that by putting in more work on my end to make people and get people results. Within my first 2 months of running my marketing agency, I made $25,000, and I was like, damn, that's really good money. Like, that's where I found my passion again. Obviously, money is a great motivator, and it's always been for me, but it's never been, like I said, the end all be all, because I made great money consulting in e-com. But again, when the passion ran out, that money didn't mean anything. It didn't make me happy. Now, obviously, I gained more control. I had more variables in my hand, but I still felt disconnected. And obviously, with my social media still blowing up at the time, I was about at 2 million followers, but I was also losing passion for that because I wasn't making content I was enjoying. I was just making entertainment content, and it didn't really benefit anyone in the way I wanted it to. So obviously, again, I fell into the same process of, I am not content, I'm burnt out, I don't enjoy doing this anymore. But I know the one thing I really loved still was fitness. It was the only thing that maintained consistency within my life, right? It was the only thing I ever looked forward to doing each and every single day. And at that point, fitness was just a lifestyle, but the results started to slowly pick up, follow, and it wasn't that I was focusing when I first started in the gym to become big and aesthetic. Obviously, that was kind of a goal, but I kind of was just going through it, and the results just stacked on top. The gym was also one of those things that taught me grit, persistence, and delayed gratification. In any business I ran, it was never an overnight success. I always had to put in a lot of work and wait for the results to come. And I think a lot of people want quick results. Quick results don't equal long-lasting fulfillment. Again, like I said, the enjoyment comes in the journey of doing something that you love. It's that step-by-step process which makes the end goal so much sweeter, so much better. Because once you get to that goal, you'll realize it's not all that exciting. And you want to push past it and push further. When people just think that they can get to a goal and everything's going to be okay, those are the people who end up losing all their success, because they realize It's not what they were aiming for and looking for. It's the process is what they really loved. So fall in love with the process, disconnect emotionally from the end goal, and the results will follow. I also knew this is where my passions fell and my passions aligned. This is where I knew I wanted to be, and I knew that, helping someone achieve the best physique they could possibly achieve and be the healthiest person, someone who's, suffered from high blood pressure but now can live a more optimal and healthier lifestyle and feels so much better to go out each and every single day to enjoy nature, enjoy the tasks that God has to offer. That's what really felt like it gave me purpose. So what did I decide to do? I decided to build a fitness business. I knew how to sell, I knew how to market, I knew how to get people results, and I knew what worked for me. Now, when I train people, I love to train people who want to look like me, because at the end of the day, like I said, you need to find someone who's in the position you want, and you need to figure out how they got there, right? And the only person who can take you from where you are to where you want to be is the person in that position. A lot of people let the opinions of others who are not where they want to be dictate their actions. To me, when someone's in a position and they're not in a position where I want to be, I don't let their opinions dictate my actions, because if my brain thinks more like them, I'm going to be more like them where I don't want to be. If I want to be like someone who is in that position, I need to follow that person. It's plain and simple. Now, the gym also, I realized as I was getting bigger, it gave me respect, authority, self-belief. My confidence level went through the roof. I had girls who would always approach me and they were like, wow, you have a really nice physique. I caught eyes in public. Every time I went to talk to someone about, let's say, something in business, they automatically took me with more respect. Everything else in my life also started to align. I started working with brand deals that were overlooking me and people that I once never dreamed of working with. I've worked with Under Armour, I've worked with Fashion Nova, I've worked with Guess, I've worked with some of the biggest multi-million dollar, multi-billion dollar brands. Now, the gym was something that made me a leader, and the reason why I coach people in fitness is because it's the one thing in my life that never lied to me. It also taught me that results are earned, they're not given to you. You have to go out each and every single day and work. If you're not willing to put in the hard work, get rid of your goals. You're not serious about them. At the end of the day, you've got to put in the work, and if you're not willing to put in the work, you are going to stay in the exact position you are in. No one's going to push you to get you to where you want to be. At the end of the day, no one's coming to save you. It's only you, and you are the only person that can change the entire trajectory of your life. It's plain and simple, and the quicker you realize that, the faster you're going to get to where you want to be and live like the person you've always dreamed of living. The reason I started in the gym was because I felt lost, I was angry, and everything felt so uncertain, but I want to tell you right now that it is not over. It is not over until you say it is over. The gym is the best place to start. I think everything in my life followed once I transformed my body and completely transformed my mindset. And if I'm gonna give you a very simple way to digest this on how I completely unfucked my life, I'm gonna tell you this right now. It was with one post, one set, and one day at a time. And everything else follows. It's hard to start something and not see the results right away. Too many times people come to me and they're like, I rely on motivation and I rely on the results to keep me motivated. You don't have the discipline then, because when that motivation runs out, you're gonna fall off track. As well, everyone always likes to say that they don't have enough time. I'm gonna tell you this right now, and I tell people this all the time on a sales call. I'm like, if I told you that you had to go to the gym 4 times a week, and in 8 weeks, you would have 10 new pounds of lean muscle mass, would you make the time? And I've never once heard someone say they wouldn't make the time. It's not that you don't have the time, it's your priorities that are an issue. I've ran 6-figure businesses. I have done my full degree in engineering, taking 14 courses at a time, one of the hardest degrees, consistently posting on social media, working a job at the same time. And I've still found the time to make the time to get my body right, get my mind right, because I know that's the only thing I'm doing in my life that's going to make actionable difference to get me to my goals. And if you are gonna sit there and blame all the other things in your life that are happening to you, you need to first sit down and have a conversation in the mirror with yourself and say, you're the reason you're not there. Once you start doing that, I guarantee you, life becomes a whole lot easier. Let me tell you, the harder life comes from doing the easier things. The easier life comes from doing the hard things, having the hard conversations with yourself, and really just reflecting, sitting there, and understanding that if everything's your fault, you're going to be able to take the actionable steps you need to take in order to better yourself, because you can't change anyone but yourself. It's too hard to change anyone else. Think about how hard it is to just change yourself, to get you to go to the gym right now. Do you think you're going to go and change anyone else? No. People only change when they want to change. And when is it going to be the time that you're going to change yourself? I think right now I'm in the best position I've possibly been in my life, because I feel like I'm helping everyone that possibly comes to me. I'm completely transforming, changing their physique. You know, people, when they text me in the morning and they say my pants no longer fit, that gives me purpose and fulfillment in my life, and I love it. I don't want to come here and, you know, tell you that I want you to come and change your life and let me help you, because at the end of the day, if you're not willing to take the first step, I shouldn't have to be the one to push you. Your current situation should be enough to say, hey, I need to make the switch, I need to make the change and get my life right and get my mind and my body right. Now, for the people who are serious, the people who are ready to put in the work, and I'm gonna give you the opportunity. Opportunities are given and they're there for you to take them or not. No one's gonna push you to take them. But if you're really serious and ready to make a change, make a difference in your life, and take that first actionable step by transforming your body, transforming your physique and your mind, there's a link in the bio. I want you to go to it, fill it out. You'll get my 7-day free training program so you can start today, because at the end of the day, success loves speed. It doesn't wait around for people to take steps. It's the people who get there first. There's the guy who's gonna start the diet on Monday, and there's the guy who's gonna start the diet today. Who gets the results first? The guy who starts today. Listen, the one thing I've learned over the last few years is you're literally one decision away from completely changing your life. But I hope this video helps you. I hope those of you who are ready to actually make change in your life do go to that link, because I really would love to help you, but I'm not going to push you to do it. You got to be the person who's ready to take those steps and make that change. You guys take care. If you guys don't follow, like, subscribe, comment, leave me a comment. I'll try to reply to all of them, and I'll catch you in the next video.